Hello everyone, my name is Won-gun. I'm a meditation teacher. Today we have two guests, Seo Ja-hyeon of Okyeon Dojang in Ulsan and Kim Dal-jung of Jukjeon Dojang in Daegu. Hello. Would you please introduce yourselves? Thank you for having me here. My name is Seo Ja-hyeon. I'm with Okyeon Dojang in Ulsan. In the past, I didn't experience anything through meditation. But last year, since I started the meditation for attaining ageless longevity and immortality, I experienced many things during the different stages of meditation, and I experienced the healing of my mind and body. I really enjoyed my meditation, and now I look forward to sharing this meditation with many people. That's wonderful. You said that you experienced the healing of your mind and body. Can you tell us more about this? Are you meditating every day? Yes. 2 years ago, my son and I meditated for 1 hour every day for 125 days. At the time, he was in the second grade. Maybe because his soul was so pure, he experienced the spiritual phenomena less than 20 minutes into meditation. During meditation, he regularly saw a bright light, a dragon, a phoenix, and spirits. As for myself, I was spiritually blind and not helpful to my son. Being quite embarrassed about this, I kept praying, "Please let me see spiritually." After this, I did a continuous relay of 100 days and 21 days of meditation. Then in September last year, I began the meditation for attaining ageless longevity and immortality. So for 100 days, I meditated for 3 hours every morning at home and another 2 hours at my dojang, totaling 5 hours of daily meditation. That is impressive. You meditated for 1 hour every day until last year, and then you started meditating for 5 hours every day. It seems you had compelling reasons to be so dedicated to the meditation for attaining ageless longevity and immortality. Can you tell us what they were? Yes, of course. Let me ask this. When are we most desperate? It's when myself, my spouse, my children, or my parents are dying. In fact, I was in that situation. I couldn't think of anything. I was just desperate to save my loved one. This had to do with my daughter. 6 years ago, when my daughter was 27 months old, she was diagnosed with developmental disorder. Shortly afterwards, I had to rush her to the emergency room because she developed acute pneumonia. As soon as we arrived, they sent her to the intensive care unit and attached her to an oxygen tank because she couldn't breathe normally. The X-rays showed her lungs covered white with inflammation. They also discovered a hole in one of her heart chambers. The doctor said, "Your daughter has severe pulmonary artery hypertension. She may have only a few days left." I was paralyzed by these words. What followed was 2 months of daily visits to the ICU and then to the general ward. During that time, I chanted the mantras even during my sleep. Wailing, I prayed to Sangjenim, Taemunim, and my ancestors to save my daughter. I was allowed only 30 minutes a day to visit her at the ICU. So during those precious minutes, I absolutely focused on chanting the Taeulju, Unjangju, Silsangyang scripture mantras with my hands placed on my daughter's heart and lungs. Indeed, an extremely difficult situation. But you didn't give up. You prayed to Sangjenim and Taemunim and chanted the mantras with absolute devotion. What happened afterwards? After the first 10 days at the ICU, my daughter's acute pneumonia improved, and she was sent to the general ward. The doctor said it was extremely rare that a patient on nitric oxide respiratory support was moved to the general ward. But the hospital said it was difficult to fully assess my daughter's condition based on the examinations they did. They felt they had to first seal the hole in my daughter's heart. But when they started the surgery, they discovered that her heart did not have a valve between the pulmonary artery and the right ventricle. Also, the heart was suppressing the right ventricle, so the doctors attached an artificial valve to separate the pulmonary artery and the right ventricle. The doctors said a secondary surgery will be necessary. I was devastated that my 3-year-old daughter would receive another heart surgery. As a doctor of Eastern medicine, I have a sense of what the patient and their family go through. What you just described must have been extremely difficult for you. The second surgery must have been very difficult. What happened? While my daughter was waiting for the second surgery, I kept chanting the Shicheonju mantra and the Teoju mantra with my hands on her lungs and heart. The doctor said tests show that her pulmonary artery and heart have settled to their correct places, so the second surgery was cancelled. What a relief! Yes, it was fortunate. But I had all kinds of mixed feelings at the hospital. Even though modern medicine is highly advanced, the doctors could not figure out the cause of my daughter's illness. I was really frustrated. So every time I touched my daughter, I wished I could see the inside of her body to understand what was happening. And I became more impassioned about my prayers and meditation to heal her as well as myself. Fortunately, the Jongdosanim around that time gave his teachings on meditation for attaining ageless longevity. Yes, that's right. To help people like you, the Jongdosanim's teachings on meditation for attaining ageless longevity and immortality have been airing on Sangsaeng television broadcasting. I heard that you and your family experienced many illnesses. Also, you experienced many healings through ardent meditation. Can you share some stories with us? Sure. Since last year, I have been diligently practicing the meditation on attaining ageless longevity and immortality. After completing the final stage, the stage of receiving a flower of immortality, I felt that I gained an ability to heal myself and others. As for myself, I've been quite depressed while taking care of my daughter with a serious illness. As much as I loved her, I felt trapped in the daily routine of taking care of her with no time for myself. After a while, I didn't want to see anyone. I felt my positive attitude was replaced by negative, depressive thoughts. Unfortunately, this depression lasted 3 years. But once I started my 125-day meditation, I felt bit by bit my body was getting filled with light, dissolving the darkness inside me. Eventually, my depression disappeared and I felt completely bright. Wow, that's an amazing story. Depression and mental illness are difficult to treat even with medication. So it's all the more impressive that you cured your depression with meditation. Now, people experienced various healings through the flower of immortality meditation. Did you have such an experience? Yes, my daughter's heart improved, but her immunity was so weak that she regularly caught a cold. She also had epilepsy and was taking brainwave scan annually. One time, she suddenly fell backward while standing, hitting the ground so hard. So whenever she was asleep, I did a meditation of planting and merging a 설려화, a flower of immortality, inside her body, focusing on her heart and head. Later, her doctor told me, after checking her brainwaves, that her epilepsy, which persisted for 5 years, disappeared. It was a miracle. That is wonderful. In Eastern medicine, epilepsy is well known, but it's not easily cured. And most patients must rely on medication for the rest of their lives. So I'm astounded that your 설려화 meditation was able to stabilize your daughter's brain waves. And so many viewers of our program are amazed by healing experiences such as yours. They ask, what is 설료화? Does it bring healing? Well, in Chungsan-do, we have two main mantras, which are like wish-fulfilling jewels. They are the Shichonjuju mantra and the Teochu mantra. If you practice daily dynamic meditation with these mantras with a sincere mind, you could receive a flower of light that transforms your body into an immortal being. At the beginning stage, this flower is called 설료화. Later, when your meditation advances to a higher stage, you will receive a flower of light called 선정화. This flower is the ultimate goal of our meditation, and it marks the beginning of becoming an immortal of ageless longevity. I'd like to emphasize that anyone can receive a 설료화 and meditate diligently. And when you do that, you can experience profound healings like our guest, Seo Ja-hyeon. Now let's meditate to strengthen the divine pearl inside our head. Keep your back upright, extinguish all thoughts, focus, and chant the mantras.
시천주 조화정 영세 불망만사지 시기금지 원이대강 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 훔치 델천상원군 훔리치야두레 훔리합리사파 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 훔치 델천상원군 훔리치야두레 훔리합리사파